Fight fans, fight fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am here for the reflections of yesterday. This is the reflection video between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alverez. And what we witnessed yesterday, we're going to talk a lot about that. We're also going to discuss the sudden passing of Ricky Hatton, which that was the first thing that grabbed me this morning when I picked up my phone and started looking at feeds, and and that really took me by surprise. That was a shocker, So let's get to it. First of all, Bobby Sorbit became a YouTube member. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. I appreciate everybody that showed up yesterday. Members have special content, of course. They have perks. Jump over to the membership page. Look at everything from every time frame, which is not shown publicly to just anybody. So welcome, Bobby Sorbit. Counterpunch to you. Bad man in the bushes. Hey, Kurt, counterpunch and travel well. Hatton with the praying hands emoji. Kurt, your feed sounds like somebody eating a bag of chips. It's very crispy. All right, how about that? Audio needs twerked. I'm out, sir. Okay. All right, how's that sound? Hold on. Sounds like crickets. That's strange. All right, testing. How does it sound now?
I finally got my claim for my car accident.
Okay, guys, give me some feedback. How does it sound? Does it sound any better? Does it sound better? Testing. Still sounds the same. I don't. Still sounds the same. I don't. Okay, let's see. Well, what is the deal, man? Hold on a second. Okay, we still have the same thing. How's it sound now? How's it sound? Where we at? How's it sound now? How's it sound? Where we at? How's it sound now? How's it sound? Where we at? How's it sound now? How's it sound? Where we at? That sounds weird. Hold on a second. No, that's weird because it's off. What's that shit coming out? No, that's weird because it's off. My receiver's off. That's weird because it's off. My receiver's off. Sounds like someone was moving stuff. Now it sounds like someone's playing a recorder. Sounds like someone is moving stuff. Now it sounds like someone's playing a recorder. Because I'm trying to hear it from, I have a feed on. Testing. I'm trying to hear it from, I have a feed on. Testing. I'm trying to hear it from, I have a. I don't know, man. We can pull out the old Samson if it keeps up. But this is new technology. But I did, my shit was dropped. But I mean, how did it sound last night? It sounded good last night. So I don't know what's up with that. But we got Skrilla 50. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you, King Skrilla in the building. Yeah, rest in peace, Ricky Hatton. That's crazy. That's crazy. Alex with the fist and the power emojis. Counterpunch to you, Alex. Guys, here's some. Hey, boss. Counterpunch to you. I got some old noises like when two phones are together. When you're, okay, that might be the case. Yeah, that might be the case. It might be too much interference with the phones. Yeah, all right. Where's that? Cool. All right, let's see if that improves it. So, yeah, because I did have two phones next to each other. So it may be running interference or some shit like that. Okay, last night was perfect, but I can work with this noise. It's 207. Echoing and scratchy. Bravo, bud. Bill knows boxing. Counterpunch to you, Bill. Where you was at, man? You know what else sounded good last night? And the new. Yeah, man. Ricky has been drinking, but sniffing coke for many years now. I mean, I heard about his problems he was going through, his substance abuse issues, man. And it's, man, he been going through that a long time, man. Because remember, the Ricky Hatton Mayweather fight was in 2008. You know. So, real quick. Okay. Ricky drinks heavy when he's been drinking. He then gets a bag of coke and then a real bad combo for your heart. Yeah, I heard about that, man. And you know what makes me wonder, like, oh well, it seems like no foul play, but then yet you found him. You see what I'm saying? Like you had to find Ricky Hatton somewhere. He wasn't at home if you had to find him, right? What do you think Canelo's next payday looks like? If he still marketable after that performance? Of course he is. He was still marketable after the first time he lost. You know, people still wanted to see him because they just knew who Floyd was. Now people know who Terence really is. You know, now it makes sense. See, for everybody that looked at Terence Crawford as a person that just needed to just shut up and box, you know, just the next guy, he had proven to us over 2 years ago that he was that guy. You know, he proved to us. I knew him. See, the thing about Terence Crawford, I've been watching him a long time. The first fight that I seen with Terence Crawford was the Yuriorkis Gamboa fight. And you guys know I'm a pro-Cuban supporter, right? And Yuriorkis Gamboa was an undefeated guy. At the time, he was signed to 50 Cent. Remember that? I think that was that Rock Nation? Nah. But no, it was 50 Cent. He had signed Yuriorkis Gamboa. And Terence Crawford took the opportunity to take on the undefeated Cuban champion. And, you know, that was at 135. You know, keep that in mind, you know. And at that time, a star was born. See, you don't do things like that to golden Olympian champions like Yodiokis Gamboa. See, people don't really look at him like they supposed to, I feel, you know, because Terence beat him. And then what happens when Terence beats you, then all of a sudden you're no good anymore. I can't stand that. Is there a rematch clause? Nah, it's not a rematch clause between that. I mean, I know Canelo wanted to take on the fight. I know he wanted another time to share the ring with Canelo Alverez. I mean, with Crawford. But the way he said it, it was almost like, you know, that would be nice, but it's not something that he demands. So I don't think it's in there. But like Canelo said, there was nothing that he could have done different. He couldn't figure him out. You know, and Crawford just got better and better. I mean, what happened? Crawford was tighter earlier. Then he got loose like he always does. So the thing is, you know, Floyd fighting Canelo versus, you know, Terence fighting Canelo. You know, I always thought Floyd. Floyd was he's a great fighter. Floyd's a great fighter. I'm not trying to shit on Floyd, but Terence is also in that same circle. See, for you to do the things that both of those fighters did, and they're still undefeated to this day, is something great. Now, if you wanted to really compare him, yeah, Floyd fought Canelo when he was 36. Crawford fought him when he was 38. They were both older than Canelo, but, you know, Floyd, you know, Floyd retired when he was 38, though, to be fair. But, you know, he's not taking on the top echelon of fighters. He wasn't doing that type of shit like Terence Crawford. Canelo's the creme de la creme. He's the guy that, hey, he's the king in boxing. And then he was also the king at his weight division. So keep that in mind. He was that dude. And Terence came up there and knocked him off the top of the mountain. Crazy. Crazy. People want to find excuses, and I was so happy Canelo didn't use them. He simply said he tried everything, but he couldn't work but style out, and nothing he did was working. I mean, that's what happens, you know, and I should have bet on the fight. Floyd, it's Floyd. Do you think Bud will continue? I don't know. I don't know, man. You know, I mean, a lot of people want to salvage the perfection of these fighters. You know, because I think what people learned was not because of Floyd, but really because of Roy. If you know anything about fights and you know anything about fighters and, you know, the admiration, the love we have for them, if you're a true fan of the sport and you start to like that person as a person, you know, with character and personality and stuff like that, and you've seen what they do in the ring and you respect what they do with their family outside the ring or whatever, they start to become closer to you, right? And because of that, you don't want to see them defeated because, you know, you don't want to see that. And it's not really for the fighters, it's for ourselves. You know, so the idea of Terence Crawford just fighting until he can't, you know, I mean, I think that's where family needs to come in, step in, if they can, and try to avoid those type of, you know, experiences. You know, you sound like you're in a hallway. That's crazy. Do it? I wonder if this has anything to do with this box, because my receiver was dropped the day before yesterday. Let's see. So, St. Don, it's you, old man, or not. Yes, Alex, it's the real St. God, not that clone. Yeah, I heard about that, man. I keep hearing it. I'm like, what do you want me to fucking do? You can't. See, the thing is about clones, I mean, you should report them. I can't report them. You know, I could knock them off. Crackling noise still? Jesus Christ. Come on. Hey, Mr. DJ, where you been? I'm around the world and in the back again. Okay. I am him. Been around the world, back again. Uh, okay. Okay, testing, testing. Can you guys hear me?
IRS.
Okay, can you guys hear me? What's with the crackling shit? Where's that coming from? Okay, can you guys hear me? Crackling shit. Where's that coming from? Okay, can you guys hear me? Where's that coming from? Echo. Yeah, but that's not what it's supposed to be doing. Like, I don't know where the crackling is coming from at all because he's running the shit on my phone. I was going to the gym anyway. Um, Okay, well, yeah, this is getting annoying. So I don't know if that even is the problem. Less echoing and less cracking. Crawford versus Bivol. It's crazy. Mission impossible. Hmm. Okay, does it still sound jacked up? Because Curtis Crawford among your best boxers of all time. Yeah, he is. You know, you have special fighters, and Terence is one of them, and they only come around so often. You don't have many of them because some people are just very good, you know, and then some are just great. So I do think he's definitely on the pound for pound. Um, it is better. Yeah, well, I turned off my receiver, but but it's weird. I didn't get this yesterday, which is a great thing, but I don't know what's wrong with it now. I like how Floyd was willing to fight Canelo, who was younger. Crawford definitely not going to do that with Boots, which I get. But fighters of past era's fought guys younger than him. Well, Boots though, I mean, talk about Boots Ennis for a minute. Boots Ennis hasn't done anything for his own career. And what I'm sick of people trying to like piggyback off other people's names. Like, if Boots Ennis was trying to do something for his own career, you don't do that with one fighter. But you could pick that one fighter to troll and to um, use so for publicity. You know, it's just you're trying to build your name off of a fighter that you're not fighting. And I know that was the attempt. The whole Eddie Hearn and remember Terence Crawford thing, where it's fights that Boots Ennis should have fought that didn't fight. Boots is not even in the conversation of fighting guys like Crawford. Big as he is, if he really wants that, move to 168 and take him on because the 168 super middleweight champion Terence Crawford is the king right now. He's the champion. He's the undisputed champion with every single belt. Now, if he stays there, I don't know if he will, but like I'm tired of the same stuff. I'm tired of it. Like Boots Ennis, he could have fought Brian Norman Jr. He could have fought Mulatalev. He could have fought Virgil Ortiz, and none of that shit happened. None of it. So no, I don't like until he starts working and fighting for his own career. I don't want to really hear anything about him. He doesn't. He's not in the same discussion. Do you think Canelo would like a rematch? I know he does. He said he would like to, and but I have to tell you, it's probably going to be worse. If Canelo wants to fight Terence Crawford again, it's probably going to be worse this time or next time, simply based on the fact that Crawford tasted Canelo's power and he thought he would hit harder. What does that mean? Well, we all know you should have known Jermell Charlo was not a Terence Crawford. As soon as Jermell started getting hit, he took a knee. That wasn't because he probably got hit too hard for at one time, and he just couldn't take it, and so that was voluntary. He wasn't hit hard enough to be buckled and knocked out. No, and that's what really I gauged as well. I thought about Jermell Charlo. I'm like, well, Jermell Charlo was a guy that eluded engagement, okay, and exchanges. He didn't want to exchange anymore. He wasn't slick enough. Canelo could figure him out, and Canelo figured him out pretty easy. And then after that, it was like, hey, Tom and Jerry, right? Tom and Jerry. Bud should move back down. The guys up there are too big. No. Because that's exactly what Roy did. That's exactly, the dude's 38 years old. So if anything, he needs to either retire or stay where he's at. For him to lose the weight, he could rehydrate down. But it didn't work for Roy. I wouldn't recommend it for Terence Crawford because there's no one big enough. See, Terence is one of those guys, you have to understand, he was deprived of these type of fights. Al Heyman made sure, he made it his business that any of his fighters would not go anywhere near Terence. If that was the case, he would have fought Danny Garcia at 140. That didn't happen. Right? He fought everybody else outside of that. And on top of that, Bob Arum, the former promoter of Terence Crawford, had everything negative to say about Terence. Who in their right mind and what promoter do you know said those type of negative things about their fighter. Not even Dimitri Salita, and a lot of people hated him, had anything bad to say about the fighters. But Bob did. Bob said, I'm losing money with Terence Crawford. Anybody that talks that way in the public about their fighter, how would you trust them to guide your career or to get good fights for you? He didn't do a good job because he didn't believe in Terence Crawford, but he knew he was the best fighter. You didn't like Terence Crawford, but then yet you didn't give Manny Pacquiao $20 million to fight Terence Crawford. You see what I mean? There's a reason for that shit. And there's a reason why Manny Pacquiao wanted $20 million to fight a guy like Terence Crawford at 147. I remember all this shit. And I was thinking, like, geez, man, why is Bob talking about, he's really down in his fighter? He's really throwing Terence Crawford under the bus. And I guess Bob felt I got Lomachenko, I got Terence Crawford, I got others in that stable, so I don't have to really worry about that. Daniel boiling Bibble down is pointless. Canelo said he thinks Crawford is way better than Mayweather. Yeah, I heard him say that. See, Terence beat Canelo at his own game. Oh, yeah, he beat him at his own game. See, what he did was he fought him inside. So did Floyd, but Floyd didn't. Look, Floyd did what Floyd does. Shoulder roll. Crawford came inside. And, he had the jab in the left hand. That backhand, bro, he kept that honest. He knew how to slip shots. He was just slicker. But when Canelo tried to get dirty and murky, Terence got dirty and murky right with him, and then up the punch volume. He raised that volume up. He started really, if you notice, bro, he was in there. And then when he found out that Canelo can't hurt me like I thought that he could, that I no longer have to play it safe, it was open season. You've seen the combinations fly. And it was beautiful to see. It was like, dude, it was classic Terence Crawford. It was something that you've always saw, but he's in there with the different fighter on a higher level. And he was showing that guy on a higher level what level he was on above his level. That's what he was doing. And it was absolutely spectacular. It was kind of weird to see. And I'm still trying to, I got to keep looking at the replays to see what I saw. Because I'm still in awe. Bars. Right? Bud have one last challenge. Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis has to come up then. Because if Bud decides to stay at 168, he might want to stay at 168. Turkey said, can Benavidez come down to 168? If David was smart, he wouldn't. Because remember something, Terence Crawford had already whooped one brother's ass. He already beat one of them. He beat Jose. And what people don't understand, those brothers fight alike. They're flurry guys. They're combo guys. They like to throw a lot of flurries. Those blinding flurries are good, but they're good to somebody that's slower. See, if we learned anything about David Benavidez, we also learned that hey, yeah, he beat David Morrell. He did. He beat David Morrell. He outpointed him. But you didn't see those highlight reel combos landed on someone like Morrell. You didn't see that. Mayweather was in the pocket for most of the fight. He stayed close to Canelo and countered him, and used his defense. It was a beautiful thing to see also. Floyd's an amazing fighter though. But, there's someone else, that they just, I don't even think they allowed him in the circle. I think he kicked the door in. He's in that house now, He's in that club. Jay, what's up? What we saw last night was history. Never did I think Crawford would beat Canelo in such a spectacular fashion. Truly a boxing pound for pound goat. Well, what we need is the opportunity for a lot of fighters that believe they can do it. And I think people by now should understand that just because you're in a different weight class can't mean you can't show up and show out. I was hearing it, and honestly, people, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was frustrated. I was frustrated from hearing all the disrespect. Now, look, people are fucking quiet now, aren't they? Oh, they quiet now. Everybody that doubted Crawford and the way they were saying it, like Canelo is, they talked about Canelo like he was Better Biev or something. You see what I'm saying? And even now, Better Biev has been defeated by somebody that could box, move, box, use footwork, lateral movement. They, you know what I mean? Like they talked about Canelo like he was this monster, but they failed to realize. I'm like, well, that monster hasn't knocked anybody out since 2021. I think we've seen the best of Canelo then. We've seen the best of Canelo then. You know, Canelo, I think, stays in a type of shape that he doesn't never feel bad. And guys like that may end up fighting too long. I'm not saying that Canelo has. What I'm saying is it's hard to tell what level you're on or what level you used to be when you've been doing the same thing for so long. You know? And like I told you guys, Canelo Alverez, everybody thought he got better. I try to tell people, I'm like, no, he didn't get better. He was always good. He was always a very good fighter. People called him great when he started to just, move up in weight, and take on Golovkin and taking on, 168 and clearing out 168, then going to 175. So then that's when people started calling him great. And then all of a sudden they started, oh, he's getting, his experience is doing this. Here's his greatness, but, he's learning as a fighter as he goes up. So everybody thought that was the case. Everybody thought that, he's learned more than the Floyd fight. In fact, he was too young when he fought him. He was 23 years old with 43 fights. What do you think that means? If you ain't learned how to box in 43 fights, now you're learning? No. You just got beat by the better fighter, by a guy that is spectacular. Floyd Mayweather at 36 years old was better than the 23-year-old Canelo Alverez. All right? That's what it is. Bob said Bud can't sell a fight even though Bob knows he's wrong. I bet he still won't admit he's wrong. Well, that's okay because Bob just didn't respect Terence Crawford, and Terence Crawford did the right thing. On top of, he sued Bob Arum for racial discrimination and won. People don't talk about that shit much, do they? Yeah, he won. He won that lawsuit because other fighters, has Bob Arum ever said that about Lomachenko? No. So, Bob didn't respect what he had. And Terence Crawford made a smart business decision when he re-signed with Top Rank. And remember all the Al-Hamanite worshipers, that's what I call them. They were the main ones that was like, oh, look at here, look at this. He didn't want to fight Errol because if he wanted to fight Errol, he would have signed with Al Haymon. He didn't want to sign with Al Haymon. You know why he didn't want to sign with Al Haymon? For the same reason everybody ended up leaving Al Haymon and start complaining. Because that upside pay-per-view, upside shit, no. With the low guarantee. So that means if I don't sell, my guarantee is going to be piss poor. Terence Crawford had a sweet contract. And Bob Arum hated it. If a promoter complains about he doesn't sell, who you think won? The fighter. Because Terence Crawford could do what the hell he wanted to do, but they still had to pay Terence Crawford according to the contract. And Bob hated that. Whereas he knew, if I get with Al Haymon is going to try to sell me this delusional, hey, this pay-per-view, knowing damn well Why would you want, and how would you expect to get a pay-per-view upside to something that's constantly being stolen? You know, if you jack the prices up to $75 or $79.99, people get sick of that shit. People are not dumb. They're gonna get a Fire Stick and they're gonna start illegally streaming that shit, and they want to complain about illegal streams. Well, lower the price, you greedy bitch. Lower the prices then. Terence didn't want none of that. He wanted a guarantee. What is Turkey giving these guys? Is Turkey giving these guys guarantees? No, he's giving them hardcore cash. Guarantees. That's what he's doing. It got so bad. Remember, what was the term that they used? Flat rate. You remember that term? Flat rate 4 or 5 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago? Because those Al Heyman fighters were so used to, well, if the pay-per-view comes in, we can get an upside, you know, and all this. And then what started happening? Those pay-per-view proceeds started slower and slower coming in. Slowly and slowly coming in. And people were sick of it. Like, wait a minute, dude. I've been waiting 6 months. I've been waiting for $400,000 for 6 months. Imagine someone saying, hey, man, you got $400,000, but the bad news is you got to wait 6 months to get it. You'd be kind of upset, especially if you know if it's your money. Have you rewatched the fight yet, Kurt? I've watched it twice today. I'm going to head to the gym in a little bit, and I'm going to watch it after that. I got to jump on the road because it's a travel day for me. So I kind of overslept, and I woke up and heard the Ricky Hatton shit. I just damn near wanted to go back to sleep, to be fair. Canelo is not fast enough like Bud. That's all speed kills Canelo. Well, it was also timing too. He knew he was, not only was Terence Crawford faster, he had better timing. He had better timing than Canelo. And Canelo had great timing. And he did what he could do with the timing that he had. His response time. The response time is another thing I want to talk to you guys about. The response time, the response time from Crawford was relentless. See, Crawford knew he cannot let Canelo throw 1-2, throw those big 1-2s and let that shit slide. He had to respond with something quick. See, the response time was religious. He was religiously responded. Every time Canelo gave him a 1-2, Terence Crawford threw 4 or 5. That's how you win fights. I was very surprised. I know who the winner was, but that didn't mean they had to give it to him. You know what I mean? In that first bullshit fight to the Chinko versus Jermaine Franklin, which I got to do a video on that separately, was bullshit. And that made me worried, right? And that was on the prelims. So that made me worried that they may do that to Terence Crawford. And I was like, oh, man, I hope they don't do that to Terence. I hope they don't do that shit, Say whatever you want about Jake Paul, but he did boxing a favor starting this Netflix fight stuff. It started because of him and Mike Tyson. Well, yeah, I mean, Netflix is a good option, bro. And big up to Netflix for not crashing. They got it right. They repaired stuff. They tweaked stuff. They made it better. So shout out to them, bro. Canelo looked like a plotter because he is a plotter. Yeah, that robbery got me thinking on the Bud fight. Yeah, Tony, it did. But no, back to Canelo, he is a plotter. You didn't hear what Terence Crawford said? Well, we knew we could beat Terence with them heavy ass feet. See, the perks of having heavy feet, he has a strong foundation. That's why he's never been down. However, the downside to that is he's not able to pick them big heavy motherfuckers up. Yeah, they'll keep you on your feet, but your feet are not going to be faster than the other person. You see what I'm saying? The only reason Crawford got the decision is because he was so much better than Canelo. Yeah, because he showed us in the ring, though. why he was better than Canelo. Remember that. See, so many people have their mindset on who's better just based on mindset, imagination, pastime fights. But in reality, it's like, okay, well, no, that person, how do we know that person's better? You have to show us. They have to prove it by demonstration, right? Victor Conte is the real MVP. Yes, I know Canelo is a cheater too. Yeah, you knew that shit was coming. You knew that shit was coming. I already told you that was coming. You know, guys like that. Oh, Victor Conte ain't got shit to do with that. We've seen Terence Crawford do the same shit from 135 to 140 to 147, even 154. Madrimov didn't want to fight. Madrimov actually decided to fight like Jermell Charlo did Canelo, if you must know. The same shit he did with Virgil Ortiz. He did not want to really engage. He wanted to come in and jump out and come in and jump out and run all about. That's what he was about. Gennady Golovkin Jr. Kurt, did you think Canelo won more than 3 rounds? I didn't. I think he won 4. I think it was a fair 8-4. Is your claim Conte didn't give Crawford steroids? No, he didn't give him steroids. And here's the thing. If you can't prove somebody that gave him steroids, leave it alone. But I mean, thanks to people with those bullshit opinions that all of a sudden hate Terence Crawford, I'm not naming no names. I'm not giving anybody clout. But the same people that said, oh, he was cheating and shit. Oh, yeah, he cheated, Victor Conte, and all this bullshit. Yeah, fuck off. Respectfully, fuck off. Because, you know, that was all a safety net in case Canelo lost. That's all it was. And it was all about Canelo. So there you go. Watch Victor Conte on Joe Rogan brag about giving people steroids. Yeah, years ago. But the people that make the rules break the rules. Do you think the people that are in charge of things in the federal government have never broke them? Don't mean they break them all the time. I didn't hate on Crawford. You're having feelings. No, I didn't say you did, but you got that shit from those channels. I know you did. Go back over there. Just go back over there, because when you start talking about something that you can't prove, you're just speculating. If you're speculating, you got to ask your reason why you speculate. You know, you got to find something else besides the performance. Oh man, he was on something. That's what it was. See, he was juicing. And now he's with Victor Conte. Victor Conte ain't the only person that did that. He wasn't the only person that was able to give supplements that were illegal, that were considered PEDs or banned substances to fighters undetected. He's not the only one that did that. A lot of them did that shit. Yep, see you later, buddy. I don't want to hear that shit. Go back to punch drunk. Oh yeah. Oh wait. Oh yeah, right? True. That's where he needs to go. Go somewhere. Go to my brother Punch Drunk over there. Oh, does he still have a channel? Go over there with that shit. Don't go to Showbiz with that bullshit, and he'll tell you where to go. See, here's the thing. That's the difference between channels. And I try to tell people. Some people hate on Terence Crawford just because they don't like his skin color. You know what I mean? Some people hate because of that reason. That's what it is. Or the fighter that he was fighting, Canelo. So if you flock to Canelo, some people think that I have to shit on the fighter that Canelo's fighting. Why? Because he's a threat. See, nobody was talking that Victor Conte shit until he started to fight Canelo Alverez, a known cheat. Right? So it is what it is. Scance Ranch, what's up, brother? Counter punch to you. Bryce Production, counter punch to you. Onwards and upwards for Crawford. Not sure what Canelo does next. He does whatever he wants. Kurt sure knows boxing and made it clear that Bud could pull it off. I mean, I just seen how Crawford, his footwork, because what you learned, if you learn anything about, look at Canelo's challenged fights. Why do you think we will always have the debate between Lara and Canelo? Did Lara fight Canelo again? Or should I say, did Canelo fight Lara again? No. De La Hoya didn't want it because he knew, like, fuck. You know, De La Hoya, though, was a guy that I think pacified Canelo too long. It was a good thing that he did leave Oscar, because Oscar treated Canelo like the brother that didn't know how to fight for himself. Canelo never needed help having the skills that he had. He never needed anybody's fucking help to win anything. Hell, if he lost, he lost. But he was still a great fighter. You know what I mean? If you pick 80 guys, it's 80 guys that for Canelo to fight, he would probably whoop everybody except one or two. He's that type of fighter. Canelo don't have the viciousness inside of him when that Beterbiev has when he fought Bivol, Marcus Brown. His head opened up and he still beat the brakes out of him. Yeah, that was pretty impressive. In fact, that was one of my best fights of our tour. Our tour had he had that Badu Jack shit going. Remember Badu Jack split his head open and looked like a cerebral vagina? Mm-hmm. Oh, wait a minute. What do we have here, gentlemen? Oh, I was about to say Shiraz beats Canelo. I don't know if Shiraz does, but I mean it would be pretty good. You know what I mean? This is what I won't do. Just because you see somebody get their ass whooped don't mean everybody can do it. Remember that. That's how people fuck up. They, oh man, anybody. Oh man, I know he can whoop them now. No, you don't. You've seen one person do it. In the 20-year career of Canelo Alverez, how many people have you really seen him get beat by? Very fucking few. Facts. Very few. So now we throw Shiraz in there. No, Canelo ain't. Canelo is not Belonga. Belonga's supposed to got his ass whooped because Belonga can't fight. Anybody that told me, man, just running and shit. He just running, man. Motherfucker, he don't want to fight. No, he boxes. And matter of fact, Belonga really can't fight. He just likes to land certain punches. He likes the idea of knocking you out with that bully mindset. But he can't really fight, to be fair. Belonga's not. I learned that when he fought Steve Rose, and Steve Rose is not even a power puncher that outboxed Belonga. And the first thing that came out of his mouth was, oh, yo, he just ran. No, he didn't. He boxed you. Anybody that says running don't know shit about boxing. That's what it's about. Yeah, styles make fights. Yeah, but the whole thing is Shiraz, good fighter, showed that he got that bang, but no, he doesn't beat Canelo. I don't think he beats Canelo. Adames beat Shiraz, okay? Even though they say his hand was hurt, so he has to prove that. He might have, he proved it to a lot of people by whooping Belonga's ass, but Belonga, he's not on my list of upcoming fighters. He never really was. He was a showcase fighter that he was another Deontay Wilder, another guy that he had a high knockout percentage. He had power, so people like to see him knock people out. And when you see something for so long at a certain level, you realize, you think, it gives you that perception that dude is better than he really is. But you have to consider the level. And the guys that Berlanga was fighting at, he was knocking them out, but they weren't about shit. Those were padded fights to pad the resume for the perceived assumption that this guy is better than he really is. But more power to him. I mean, Belanga's a millionaire. He got the Canelo fight. The running stereotype always existed back to Muhammad Ali day, even in Jack Dempsey era, said Gene Tunney was running from him when he outskilled and outboxed him several times. If somebody's running from you, it would be easier for you to cut the ring off and punch them. That means if they're runners, they're not really fighters. I do understand the term, but I think people use it too loosely. They use it too loosely. That threw me off. Damn, whoever that is, I don't know who that is. But when people start saying, "Oh man, you're running," just because you use lateral movement to avoid punches, for me, a runner is a person that doesn't even punch, don't even fight. Well, if that's the case, if he's just running, you know, get him. Boots Ennis is faster than Bud. That's why it's interesting to see. Well, that would be, see, Boots Ennis looks good against the fighters that he was in there with. You have to understand that. He goes in there, if he fights Terence Crawford, I think it will be a good fight because, like Canelo, Boots Ennis also has a chin, but I can see him getting knocked out. See, just because you have a good chin doesn't mean that that chin is going to save you from every combination continuously. If you keep getting hit with shots over and over again, something will give, especially when you're a type of puncher like Crawford. See, Crawford's a very underrated puncher. We should have learned with the Errol Spence fight. Hell, Errol Spence got into 2 wrecks. No, actually 3. Remember, Errol Spence got in another wreck after that first wreck. Yeah, that Terence Crawford was the 3rd wreck. If you have to pick between Canelo and Beterbiev in these categories, I don't know because this ain't shitting on Canelo. I just think Beterbiev is too big. See, they're in 2 different weight classes. There's a reason Canelo left. There's a reason he left. Now, see, if he would have fought Beterbiev then when he fought Bivol, oh, that probably would have been, I don't know. Because you got 2 durable dudes. They're 2 durable guys. The fighters, they can take shots. They can take a little bit. And I don't know. Because let's look at it like this. Artur will attack you with these shots, these short, quick punches. And he doesn't give a shit if you have your guard up or not. What we witnessed from Canelo, or let's even go back past that. You guys remember James Kirkland? According to Canelo, he was the hardest puncher that he's ever been in there with. He was like, dude, I got to end this guy because this dude can punch. And I remember when James Kirkland did come at Canelo. Canelo took those shots, yeah, but he knew, like, this dude can punch. Do you think he can do that shit against Artur? Now, the good news is Artur is 40 years old, so if I was Canelo, people talk about Crawford. Crawford can do whatever he wants to do at this point because that's not his weight class. So people don't expect him to campaign. We're just shocked that he won, that he got all those belts. So that's why. He's not necessarily in the same position as Usyk is in because that's Usyk's weight class. Usyk came heavyweight to stay at heavyweight, to campaign at heavyweight. You know what I mean? Crawford, he didn't say that he was coming to 168 to stay. He said he was coming there for that Canelo payday. Bars, right? Yeah, James Kirkland that was trained by Ann Wolfe. Yeah, Alex. But here's the deal. Artur is one of them guys that he's bigger than Canelo. And I don't know. I don't know. Because who says Canelo will go back to 175? Because Artur ain't going to 168 for that shit. Artur's staying at 175. But what Canelo could do is, what he could do, he could wait for the outcome next year, because Artur is fighting whoever. He's going to be on the undercard. But Benavidez is fighting Yard. So that's going to be a shootout. That's going to be a good fight. If David gets past him, then he's going to fight Artur Beterbiev. So if Artur and David fight, if depends on who wins. See, if Artur beats David, Canelo should go back to 175 because he don't have no reason to stay at 168 like that no more. He doesn't have any reason to stay at 168 now. He's not a champ no more, so he could do whatever the hell he wants. He could have always done that, but he could call out the winner. And if Artur is not reeking of age or lost a step, he'll beat David because he'll stop David. He'll stop David. He'll hurt David and he'll stop him. That's my prediction right now. Now, I do want to see how he looks in his fight against whoever this guy is. But if David fights Artur will stop him. Based on the fact of how his performance is. If he's at himself, David will fall to Artur. Artur will then be the WBC light heavyweight champion. Then Canelo could challenge him at the WBC. Yeah, horrible fight. Horrible fight. Come on in. Come on in. I try. Come on in. Come on, walk in. Okay. Yeah, everybody's beatable. Kurt, I still think Billy or Martinez is very dangerous for Canelo. Yeah, both of those guys, bro. I'm so glad on that fight too. Let's talk about that for a minute. And Billy and Martinez was a fight that I was very, very satisfied with. I was satisfied with the outcome because the way those guys gave it their all, they left everything in there. And then it's like they still wanted more. That wasn't a 12-round fight. That was a 10-round fight. You know what I mean? I think that should have been a 12-round fight because I think the way those guys were, they punched, they fought, they punched, they fought, they went at each other, the combinations. It was tough. I'm glad it was a draw because none of those guys deserved defeats because I think they were both winners. How do you do that? You give them a draw. And I was very satisfied with that. Boots Ennis is faster and talented than Canelo. It's dangerous. Fight to Bud. Hey, man. If Terence decides to stay at 175 and Boots Ennis is really about that, like you guys claim he is, I don't think he is. I think Boots is a guy that's talented. Sure, he's talented. He's tough. But he's shown me things unlike special fighters do. See, he's had opportunities to fight all those guys. He didn't do it. And he might have been drinking the Al Heyman Kool-Aid because a lot of those guys, they tend to renege. See, special fighters are willing to take special chances. Kurt, your opinion, Apataya versus Bivol. Oof. I don't know. Because Bivol showed me how tough he was in 24 rounds with Artur. And Artur Artur punches like a cruiserweight. You know why? Because he was a cruiserweight. Artur could campaign at cruiserweight if he wanted to. And Bivol was able to withstand the onslaught of those punches from Artur. Nobody has been able to do that. So you throw him up at cruiserweight. Jai Bataya's mean, but the question would be answered, is he a better boxer than Bivol? And my guess is probably not. So what's the other alternative? Stop him. He would have to stop him. So I really don't know.
It would be a good fight though, because they both have fast hands. Bivol, I think, is a bit faster, but then would he be faster at that weight class? It depends on how big he really is. All those guys are 6 foot tall. Those are tall guys, man. Bivol, better be Benavidez, Beterbiev, all some 6 foot. Bivol beats Apataya. He would if he doesn't get stopped. Now, if he doesn't get stopped, he would. So because Bivol's a badass, and he proved that he can take a punch, right? That's what I'm trying to say. He proved he can take a punch from Artur, and the question is, could he take that from Apataya being at cruiserweight? So, that's 200-pound fighters, man, not 175. So, if I could click my fingers and be any boxer, I'd be Bivol the same Bivol. If I click my fingers and be any boxer, I'd be Bivol. Same. Yeah, Bivol's badass, man. And Bivol, fighting Bivol is like, it's a job. Ask Canelo. Ask Artur. If I could, in hypothetical, would better be at 30 versus Bivol. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. The only challenge for Artur, though, is his age, to be real. I figured that. It's all good. I figured it out. I think in second fight, Artur got tired. He was winning until, but that may be the beginning of the end, though, unfortunately. I'm just keeping it real. Father Time is a relentless entity. It's inevitable. So if he got tired, more than likely, especially with Bivol, because Bivol made him work. Bivol made him move. Well, you think Canelo got tired too. He got tired and he got discouraged, and he was also frustrated because of those factors. He was also frustrated. When anytime you see Canelo pick you all the way up and shit, oh yeah, he's mad. He did that to Lara. He did that to Bivol, right? Think about it. Each time you see Canelo raise you all the way up and he picks you up, oh yeah, he's mad at you. He's mad and he's frustrated. Because he doesn't like what's happening. I think Bivol light outboxes David Benavidez. I think Bivol the last round for Canelo, he didn't look too good, did he? No. And see, Crawford could have stopped Canelo if he wanted to. That's why if I was Canelo, take that 150 million and go home. Go home. Eddie Hearn ruined Boots with his plans. Boots probably ruined himself. Congratulations to Crawford and respect to Canelo. Afro King, absolutely. Absolutely, man. It's not that he didn't like what's happening, because he couldn't change it. Yeah, you couldn't do anything about it. Every trick that Canelo had was debunked. Do you guys know that? Every trick that Canelo had was debunked. Crawford beat the cinnamon sugar out of Canelo, and they tried to score it 115 to 113. Yeah, if I was Canelo, I'd take my 150 million and retire, and I don't think nobody would be mad. No, he's not going to retire though. No, because I don't think he's over the hill. What he's going to do though, no, I don't. He's going to fight somebody. I don't know who that somebody will be. I think what they'll do for Terence, and this is what they should do, if Canelo wants a rematch, they need to reverse the purses. Simple. Reverse the amount of the purse. Flip-flop. Give Terence Crawford 150 million. Give Canelo 50 million. I mean, that's that. Run it back like that. That's only fair. Because if you try to give 100 million to Terence, you're like, what the fuck you trying to say? Give me the 150 million and give Canelo the 50. Switch it. And you know what that'll mean? You know what that means? If you do it that way, that's the fairest way. That means both fighters in 2 fights got the same amount of money. Simple. Philip Hrgovic versus Martin Bakali. Martin Bakali. Unless Martin eats himself into a bulimic episode. Your opinion, Terence Crawford versus Bivol. Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible, but remember, this man did that at 168. Every person has a cap. See, he basically, Terence fought him at his walking around weight. Terence fought Canelo at his walking around weight, actually a little bit under, because Crawford walks around at 180. Yeah, Martin Bakali. If Martin Bakali was in shape, yeah, he would beat Hrgovic. It would be a good fight though, because Hrgovic has a good chin. He can really take a beating. If you think about it, Philip Hrgovic can really take a beating. Crawford ain't stupid. He won't fight Bivol. Well, I mean, that it's just Bivol is. It might be worth it if Bivol had every belt. He don't. See, he would have to fight David and Bivol to be, like, damn, And these are younger dudes, bro. David's young as hell. Bivol's younger than Crawford too. So no, I don't know, man. I don't know. But hey, this wasn't supposed to be possible, right? So think of it like that. Just think of it like that. Canelo was asked what bothered him with Crawford. He said everything. Yeah. You that punch Canelo lands, the one where he steps in and cracks you with on the ropes. He tried that a few times with Bud. Bud put that stiff jab and stopped him. Yeah. Turkey won't pay that out again. I mean, whatever. That's fine. I mean, Crawford made $50 million. He's going to have a parade Monday, bro. He's going to have a parade Monday. I'm happy for Terence, man. And it's crazy. What does grind my gears is, though, this is me personally. You guys know I've been rocking with Terence Crawford for about 10 years. I've never had anything bad to say about Terence Crawford. I've always respected his work. I've always believed that he was the best. And this is a personal thing. Terence Crawford should go to the channels like this one that's always supported him versus the ones that didn't. And it's bad that, see, that's why when you guys tell me something, I try my best to respond and to appreciate you guys that support me on this platform. Okay. Where we do 1 million to 500,000 views a month. We got over 90 million views strong on this channel. A lot of channels with more subscribers can't say that. I thank you guys, for supporting me, for watching my content, right? I would like fighters to appreciate the channels that appreciate them. I would love for Terence to come on the show so we can ask him questions, congratulate him, and interview him versus someone that didn't even fucking believe in him. You know what I mean? That's my personal issue, because you got that, like, okay, I'm not really listening to channels that support me. That's normal. Versus somebody that's always talking shit about me. I'm going to give them more energy. I'm going to give them the interview. I'm going to give them the time that they're not even worth, because they're bad. They're bad mouthing me. I don't like that shit. You know what I mean? And one thing, if anybody knows anything about me that follows this channel, they know that I've always been a Terence Crawford fan. Always. You know what I mean? So I think that we should get some homage, some respect, some time. You know, I would love Terence Crawford on this show. So yeah, I wish Terence Crawford could come on Counterpunch Boxing News, give me an interview. It doesn't have to be live because I know that's a big, that's a big ask, because a lot of huge interviews are not live. You don't want to catch someone off guard. You can edit shit out of, like a StreamYard deal or whatnot. It doesn't have to be online. We can just let it rip, But yeah, it's like the channels that give the most doubt are the ones that get the energy. I wish that wasn't the case. Hopefully Canelo doesn't push the A-side talk. Hey, Kirk, can you find out why Effie pulled out of the Sanchez fight? I heard money not worth the Sanchez. Well, maybe it's not. I don't know. Remember, that's not a turkey show. So that's all you really need to know. If it's money, it's because he got paid more money to fight Mark McCullough than he did for an eliminator, for a purse bid. So that's what happened. The money wasn't worth it because he already got paid that same amount of money. To fight somebody that already beat you, that ain't worth that. Not to Effie Ajagba, because he might get beat again, and then where is he at then? Under Frank Sanchez once again. Where the hell is Frank really? Frank is in nowhere land. And that's my boy. He can't even really get fights. We wasn't even meant to be having this conversation. No, we weren't. Chris Lees, I got a bone to pick with you. Wait right there. Chris Lees, I've been waiting for you. You sent me a fucking email that gave my phone a virus. You did. You sent me that shit on that email. When I clicked on it, I powered my phone down at work because it was froze and I could not get back in it. I took it to Verizon. They couldn't do shit with it because I couldn't get in it. I took it to a, what do they call it? The repair shit. They said I had to send it off. I know what my fucking code is, but it wasn't. Somebody from that fucking link, got into my phone and stole all my fucking crypto. I was waiting for you to come back. I was thinking I was going to see you yesterday. Bro, don't ever use that shit. No. And they were like, did you click on any links? Did you do this? Did you do that? No, bro. These motherfuckers stole all of my crypto. Man, they got into my shit from that link. They got into my shit from that link. I'm telling you what I know, bro. Don't use it. I don't know. Don't use it, man. Because that link that I clicked, because it did say, oh, you've got somebody. I went on out of that. But when I powered my phone down, it kept saying the same shit. Yeah. Those motherfuckers stole it. And I was thinking, like, what the? And I had to think about it. The Ika Beabuchi fight. And I was like, well, damn, I did do that. The only option would have been the fight that I was trying to buy, the link to the thing because I was trying to do it on my phone. So it was either that or the Nigerian link that wouldn't play. You remember it wouldn't play? And I was trying to put my info in and it kept clicking. And it kept clicking and it's, yeah. What link did he click? The link that was sent to me. It's like, because I clicked it twice. And my phone was acting screwy because it did, you know, kept saying, "Oh, you've had 7 attempts already." I'm like, 7 attempts? What the fuck are you talking about? And then when that happened, I did the maximum amount is 10, because what happens is, you know, it'll lock up. So it gave me the fucking blues when I did get into the phone, because what I tried to do, I tried to transfer it to my other phone device because I needed my phone for work. Well, the other device, when I transferred the crypto, that's what I was concerned about. The crypto, it was gone. It was a zero balance. I had 7,000 fucking coins of Bitcoin. 7,000. And that shit's gone, bro. I don't know, bro. Be careful. Be careful. Because I don't know. Just be careful, man. I'm just telling you what happened. And I know the link you gave me is like, well, did you click? Because they were asking, did you click on any fucking links? No, I was like, yeah, I did. You know? So I don't know. That never happened before. Imagine you're trying to use your code to get in your phone to check your bank statement. And that shit says, no, you're locked out. By the time, because see what I had to do a hard reset on the phone. Couldn't get in the fucking phone. But I knew the crypto was gone because I've already took the crypto address out and moved it to another phone. And when I got there, it was gone. Yeah, it was crypto money. Yo, I mean, you know, once you lose your phone, it's like you got to start all over again. You got to change passwords. You got to, you know what I mean? You got to get all the apps back. You know, you got to get the shit working. And I have 3 or 4 apps that I need just for the channel if I'm going to do videos. So, you know, look, I do not dispute that the link I gave you acts funny because of the nature. Let me see. You're jumping to the first conclusion you can think of. No, it's not. No, because that was the link that I clicked on. I'm telling you, the only other option was the Ike Abuchi fight itself, because that was a Nigerian link. So, but no, I lost my phone 5 times. Pissed me up. Yeah. Yeah, but that was, bro, that shit, man, I was pissed because I couldn't use it for because I tried to and I wasn't going to send it off because you had to send it to New York, from Texas to New York, and then they didn't have, you know, basically you need a hacker to hack your phone. You know. Yeah, so it might have been, Chris, it might have been the link that, you know, I went to the website. But imagine that, you know, a pay-per-view link, because there was only 2 that I clicked on, that and the one you gave me. So out of those 2, somebody got access to my shit. Terence Boxer of the Year, 2025, 100%. Yep. So yeah, yeah, bro, that shit, yeah. And I'm thinking, how did they get the crypto? Because you know how that works, right? If you use an app for crypto, you have to have a set of keys to get in that bitch. You know, the only thing unless they knew, because if they could change your code, they could get into that app. And if they could get into that app, they don't need your word keys, because you have about 12 or 16 to 12 to 16 keys. Well, I mean, I'm just telling you what happened so you will know. Never click a link again. No, I can't, man. And I like have you had that sickening feeling where you look in your shit and then it's all gone? See, if that was a bank, it wouldn't have been a big deal, but it was crypto. See, the fact that it was crypto, I can't do a fucking thing about it. Is this crypto worth it? Fuck yeah, it was worth it. 7,000 coins. It's a lot. So at its highest, when I got, okay, Vetcoin, SRP, those particular coins were worth, they were under a penny at one point. But when COVID hit, those 7,000 coins turned into like, I don't know, shit. Because it went up to like 30 cents, 40 cents. So you do the math. Yeah, it's probably about $3,200. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it went back down, but the coins were worth of maybe 300 or 400. So they were worth $300 or $400, and that shit was gone. So imagine someone took $300 or $400 from you from crypto, and you don't know how, and yeah. So how much is 7,000 coins in dollars? Well, now are probably about 300. I haven't checked it because it goes up and down. About anywhere from 280 to 350. Yeah. Approximately 280 to 350. So yeah, I mean, but then you have to think about like, okay, well, how much did you pay for 7,000 coins? I don't think that's the point. The point is how much it was worth. You don't go for how much you paid it. You go how much your shit's worth because somebody took it from me. They took it from me. Please can everybody agree that FSL and pay-per-view land direct links won't do this? Well, Chris, that's the point. If they won't do it, the fucking link you gave me did. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So you're saying, well, it can't be that. So you're saying it ain't the pay-per-view links. So if it's not the pay-per-view links, it had to be the link you gave me. Alex is... Call the fraud squad. I mean, shit, man. Good luck with that. Somebody give me a number, I will call them. But it's like the wallet, because you have wallets. The wallet was just empty. But they were the direct link to the sites. That's a lot to lose. Sorry, man. Well, bro, you live and learn, and deep down, bro. That's how you got there. Well, whatever and whoever was waiting or whatever, I wish I would have clicked on the links. And guess what? We didn't even see the fucking fight anyway. And it was a garbage ass fight. Ike Beabuchi came out there looking like he was 52 years old. He looked like shit. The whole thing was shit. We didn't even get to watch the fight. Yeah. And then I got fucking robbed. Yeah, crypto's hard to trace. You can't trace that shit. Because I was trying to look up the transaction history, you know what I mean? And there is none. So no. Okay. All right. Whatever. I'm just telling you what happened. So if you were me, what would you think? That's all I'm saying. So yeah, I'm sorry too. I'm not out of fucking money like that. That shit's, yeah, I was like, God damn. And because I was asked some questions like, well, did you get any link from somebody that gave you anything? Because that's how, yeah, and then, to see Ike, bro, because I've been watching Ike Beabuchi since like 1997. 26 years later, he finally comes back to the ring. The guy retires. And I wish I shouldn't even done it, bro. Yeah, wish I shouldn't even done this shit. But I have never. And look, and here's the problem. Like, whoever got in the phone, like, it was crazy because, you have a such thing as malware. Malware is when they lock you out of your phone and they demand a certain amount. None of that shit happened. What this one was, every time I put my code in, it would say incorrect code, and you're locked out for 8 hours. Then, how was it? 8 hours. First, it was like 10 minutes, then 30 minutes, then an hour, then 2 hours, than 8 hours. But when you went back to it, it says you still have 7 attempts. So you know what I mean? That, yeah, bro. They were just trying to, bro, I got fucking robbed. All right, Prime version, it's horror. Crypto lawless, that's why mafia types use it. Yeah. Yeah, I was waiting for it. I was like, man, because I remember I was like, he was like, did you click on any emails or something? And anybody give you email? Because they were asking these questions. You know, dude, you were using VPN. I downloaded VPN, but I didn't use it. I didn't use the VPN. You see what I mean? So it wasn't the VPN. So I was using that link you sent. I'm just telling you what happened. So don't have to make that shit up. I was the one that was robbed. I know a bit of this kind of thing, and to send a link and your shit gets robbed, it's no accident, bro. You know what did it. Just be mindful in the future of the same people. That's right. That's ransomware. Oh, that's ransomware? Well, but yeah, it was unfortunate, man. It was a fucked up thing. I heard somebody say Jose, what's his name? Yeah. I don't ever want to see that motherfucker back here again, unless he's going to pay me that money. Because see what it is, I've been listening to him. I can't wait for him to come, because I hope he doesn't come back. But if he does, I'm going to give him a great stern counterpunch. Verbally, of course. Because I was going to take that money and buy more crypto with it. But what's fucked up is you can't buy it for the same amount because it raised in value. So will this be the same on a PC? I have no idea, Chris. I have no idea. I just use my phone. And if I would have used my PC, it probably wouldn't have been as bad. You probably would have tried to get shit that's not there because my crypto's not on my laptop. You see what I mean? It's on my phone. So if I ever lost my phone and my crypto's on it, you need the keys to get back into your wallet when you download it, when you get your next phone. So yeah. So I used my phone because I was going to use my phone because I got my laptop to, for the streaming, of course. And then I was going to use my phone to buy it and then mirror it to my television in my other room. Well, what happened there? I couldn't get in because the garbage ass pay-per-view that they had in Nigeria, yeah, dude. Because if that's the case, I used my card to buy the fight. Now, if they took something out of like Chase, my bank or whatever, they couldn't do that because they would then know where it came from. You know what I'm saying? So they would know, okay, no, this is a scam. So they would cut your card up and do all that shit, all that good stuff, Never take shortcuts. Bro, I was trying to buy the fight like I do with each and every fucking fight. But, I mean, anyway, it's water on the bridge now. It just sucks. It just sucks, dude. I would hate to be the person that gave anybody something that fucking fucked them up. Kurt, I'm going to record myself clicking these links and send it to you. Don't really matter, bro. I don't, because you use that shit. You're in a different country, so maybe they were trying to target somebody that was from I don't know. It doesn't really matter. None of that shit matters now. Because the money's gone and it ain't shit I can do about it. I'm just telling you about it. That's the only thing I can do. So it is what it is. Gold been solid, Kurt. Never goes down in value. That ain't no lie. Got an uncle, bro. Matter of fact, Uncle C's brother. This cat, man, he has a lot of that shit, man. So I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, shit. I was broke too when that shit happened, because what you could do if you needed money, you could convert it from crypto to another currency, then another currency into like PayPal or Cash App. That's how you're able to get money off the crypto market. You just have to convert it into a convertible currency to send to, a paying server. That's how it works. So yeah. So yeah, man, that shit was fucked up. And I was like, man, and then it's almost like, man, well, a friend of mine from the channel, man, what? You clicked on that shit, made me look like a dumbass, and like, fuck you do that for? That was stupid. Oh, damn. Then you feel dumb because it feels like you just a sucker and you've been had, and it's like, damn, I never went through that. I never been through a situation like that. So hey, you live and learn though. Would you take Terence country corn soup over Floyd's city slicker in a pro boxing fight? Floyd ain't ever fought anyone like Terence Crawford. The only person Floyd has fought, but he fought a guy that fought like him, that was Zab Judah, which was a very good performance. I remember when Terence Crawford called out Floyd Mayweather, and I remember this. I was thinking about this morning, and I was thinking about like, well, maybe that fight would be, but then he's too old now. But this was like 4 or 5 years ago, and I would love to see a 33-year-old Floyd fight a 36-year-old. Fuck it. How about a 36-year-old Terence Crawford versus a 36-year-old Floyd? I got a lot of gold. I got a nice 605 gram Belcher and got some other big heavy stuff. I see a nice big, I've said a nice big bit of gold under 31. Is that pounds? I'll buy it. Personally would take Terence all day at 36. Well, keep in mind, Terence would fight Floyd at southpaw. You know what I mean? I think Floyd has issues with southpaws because the shoulder roll from that stance, from that guard is it's easier to catch Floyd with that. I'm broke right now, Kurt, but I can't just hear that and forget it. I'm going to have to, because, you harp on something like that, it'll make you sick. But, that sickening feeling like, dude, I got fucking robbed. And it was like, damn, I couldn't get my phone. Took it to 3 different stores, actually. So went to Verizon first. They didn't know shit. Verizon has really went to shit. I used to work for Verizon. And they had a sales side and they had a tech side. And then the tech side handled all the technical shit. Now it's through, phone. You have my word. I have your word of what? We all broke, bro. I mean, if fruity ass Chop Chop could land on Floyd, then damn, Fruity? Why Chop Fruity? Most people they call Fruity is gay. Great fight, Kurt. Bud done what Bud does. Thank you for all the live commentary. Yeah, bro. That was a hell of a fight, though. A hell of a fight. I enjoyed it, man. It was something that we're gonna be talking about for a while. You have my word, Kurt. I will at least halfway make it up to you. Hey, man, do what you can. I appreciate it, and I'll try my best to buy the crypto that I lost because that's my concern. Because I know that coin. When I bought that coin, I had just came back from Brazil, and this is crazy. This is like 2018. And a friend of mine was like, hey, man, listen, let me tell you about this, that, and the other. He told me about Bitcoin. He was like, dude, Bitcoin is real cheap right now, but it's going to increase in value. And I was like, well, how much? He was like, dude, $50 will get you 7,000 coins. I'm like, really? And I'm like, $50 ain't shit. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you spend $50 on that you know you don't need? You could go to Walmart and spend $50 on something, come out of there and be like, what the hell did I buy? You spent $50. You know what I mean? So it doesn't, you know, that wasn't really a big issue. And I was like, shit, give it to me. And he showed me how to do this, that, and the other. And the currency was, it went through like 4 or 5 phones. So I had the keys. Well, in COVID, so that was, that was 2 years later. So from 18 to 2020, the shit skyrocketed. You know, it went from first, it got to like 20 cents. And I'm like, whoa, you know, when he calls me, he's like, yo, look at how much it went up to. So that $50 turned into like 1,200. That 1,200 turned into like 2,000. That 2,000 turned into like 3, but it did go down. So, you know, it got down to like the hundreds, but still $50 was like last time I checked it was, I don't know. I mean, if you guys know crypto, you can check it yourself now, but yeah. But how did clicking the link make crypto disappear? It didn't disappear. Somebody stole that shit. They got into the phone. They locked me out of my phone. And then they went into my shit and got that crypto and left. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you, Chris. Somebody locked me out of this particular phone. This one right here. I could not get in the phone. And the more I tried, I even took it to Verizon. Like, oh man, you're going to have to swipe it. You know, I'm like, I don't want to swipe it because I got everything on my phone. But they were like, nah, you got to swipe it. And it kept saying the same shit. Turk and Dana trying to monopolize boxing under the ring banner. Promoters be out of a job in a few years. Good. Let them go. All the Dimitri Salitas and the fucking, all that shit. Let them, fuck them. If that's the case, take it over, make an organization like UFC, like NBA, like NFL. Yeah, I don't care about that. Jana Beck would beat the brakes off of Bud. There's always another challenge out there. It's always another challenge. So, you know. But yeah, man. I enjoyed those fights last night, man. I really did. Again, man, I thank everybody for coming in, showing up, showing out. Man, we had a great time, bro. So it's all, look, eyes are all on Terence Crawford, on what he's going to do in the future. But remember, he is the man. Terence Crawford is that man. And I think for once in Terence Crawford's career, we need to give him that respect, right? Because this is more than a one-hit shocker now, because, you know, it was an excuse every time Terence did something. You don't have one now. He beat the younger guy. He beat the cash cow. He went to his weight class. There was no hydration or fucking catch weights and none of that. None of that. Terence Crawford showed you, hey, this is what I'm about, and I can do it again and again. So, guys, I thank you for hanging out with me once again for this live stream. I hope you guys have a blessed Sunday. God bless you all. May God bless you and keep you. We will be live once again tomorrow, and everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.